What is up, my people? How is it going? Let's see. Let's make sure this rig's set up right. Got a new mic. It's feeling good. I hope it's recording at least past everything else. That'd be good. Who knows? Well, we're going to find out. Let's see here. Don't mind the tapping of the keyboard. So we're going to be working on a couple things that people asked for. Sorry. There we go. So we're going to be working on a couple things people asked for as far as texturing and painting low poly models go. Something I posted online. You can see on the Twitch channel, or sorry, Twitter feed, I think. So we are going to go ahead and get started here. And there's a sync issue I've got going on my end, but fuck it, who cares? We'll make it work. So, whoa. Here we go. Okay, so Maya is run into an issue because I kept it open for too long without doing anything with it. All right, stand by. We're going to... Oh, 6 windows open. There we go. Oh, don't look. All right, here we go. Let me get you pulled back up here. All right. It is loading back up. So we're going to be doing low poly work with, again, some pretty easy texturing. So I'll go through like my Photoshop setup and my my way of just working through it. Hold on, let me turn down my feedback volume. Okay. So we'll go through the workflow, starting from low poly, the unwrapping the UVs, and then moving on to the painting and how I set up Photoshop, moving it back into Maya, and then going through just pulling into the model. And we'll go from a full portfolio piece or project piece from the ground up. So we'll go through a scene, just how I go through the creative process, and then move through. So let's go ahead and get started here. I'm going to go ahead. So I always start with like a kind of a piece that really goes through the full thing. Something that I can see from like the ground up, as in like a just kind of a centerpiece for it. Oh, I'm trying to figure out my windows here, so don't need the render view. So I'll start with the pillar. Gosh, and now people blowing up my cell phone. I apologize again. All right, so start with the pillar. I'm going to start with the cube. Ooh, sorry. So we're going to call that pillar just so I can keep track, and we're going to call it pillar 1. Pillar uno, por favor. And here we go. Sorry, setup's a little long until we get it going here. And we're just going to start with some typical stretching, pulling. We're going to pull it up here. That sounds about right. Right now, we're just fucking around with scale. Sorry, kids, if you're watching. But we're fucking around with scale. We're going to be messing with just kind of some designs or whatever. And I think with low poly, you don't need much to start off with. So if we hit the edges here. Yeah, so the edges here. Let's go ahead and bevel it out. So we'll go to mesh display. Gosh, it's been a while since I've done it this way. Oh, bevel, here we go. We don't need big sections, so maybe 0.2, maybe 2.25. I just need it to give me a softer corner. So let's see what 0.1 does. Yeah, 0.15 is fine. We don't need anything crazy. We're going to go ahead and add an edge loop. Gosh, it's been a while, so I'm going to fuck with my settings here. We'll go through edge loop, edge, there it is, mesh tools, insert edge loop. We'll grab the top up here, grab the face, well, face. Grab it in. Just kind of scroll it down. We don't need anything crazy. Because, again, this is going to be a pillar. It's kind of the cornerstone of what we're working with. So it's just something to start off light, get the style going, get the concept, and then build off of that. So I'm thinking of kind of this forgotten pawn scene, which, fun fact, I've already named it. And then kind of building around it. So nothing too hard. But so we start with this. It's something easy. Right now, if I did like a quick IPR of this, it's not going to show up. One, there's no light in the scene, but there's nothing there. So let's go ahead and let's start unwrapping this. So my unwrap process is pretty damn simple. I'm going to take this whole bottom piece of edges. So because it's low poly, we don't have to worry about too many seams, and just the paint style I have, it's not something that, oh, whoa. Man, let me tell you, Maya's just giving me some issues today. Stand by, please. Whoa. Whoa! Too many processes. Stand by. All right. So let's shut down. Let's open her back up. We'll get to know each other a little more closely. And need be, we'll do it in Maya 2016. Right now I'm using 2018. There's no difference. I do like the Arnold render in 2018 because it's more substance-based. It's pretty easy. Okay, quick. Let's model this bitch back out. Oh, fuck. If not, we've got another one to play with. There we go, got it. And my computer's going through an update. It did again earlier today, so I just may not have gotten a chance to do the update and restart the computer. So maybe it's just something we got to fuck around with later. All right, so let's go from backwards up. We'll do a insert edge loop here. Grab the top face. Whoop. Grab the top face. We're going to move it in. And we're going to bevel these edges here. Oh, already got that edge. Okay, mesh tool, edit mesh, bevel. We're doing faction 0.15. Looks good to me. Don't care if it looks good to you. This is my artwork. We're going to do what I want. It's my birthday. I'll cry if I want to. All right. Go over the sides here. We're going to grab an edge. I'm going to try to grab one of these edges because it's on a seam. And that will work for me much better than what I need it to do if I was going to grab anything else. Grab these, and let's hope I can grab the top before this fucker shuts down. Don't know why Maya's acting up today, but process is the same. We're going to do autumn. Nope. Okay, let me grab them again. We're going to do UV editor. Pull it in here. We're going to do shoot. Okay, let's do this. Let's do cut, sew, merge. Yeah, it's going to look ugly at first because I want it to cut the way I want to. And you can do the other ways perfectly fine. It just depends on how you do your seams. For low poly, I'm not going to go too much into painting in scene. This is more for beginner painting in Photoshop, bringing it back in. So seam work, you know, I'm not as worried about that. You can do cut here, Shift X if you want to. We're going to take it. We're going to modify, unfold. And we're going to grab these UV shells here. And my rotate's probably on lock. Sure is. Go to tool settings. Go to, oh shit. Snap step, always keep it on. It's a bad idea, bad habit. Get out of that. But until then, there we go. Go here. We're going to slide this over. So a tool that you're going to get really familiar with is the texturize tool. Or at least a QB texture tool. I'm not sure the official name for it, but it doesn't matter. What it's used for is the same. You want your UVs, the checker boxes, to at least line up. You want the sizes to be comparable to each other so that you know your texture's being wrapped correctly, or like the scale's correct. Because if one side's way more detailed than the other, you're gonna have a fucking problem. And realistically, we can get rid of this face altogether. Low poly, guys. Kill your triangles. All right, this looks good. I mean, you're going to have a little curvature here and there. It's just because of the way this is made out. And you're going to have the curvature because that's the way it has to be to wrap around at least as much as it can. One more time, we're going to try to unfold here, see what we've got. Modify, unfold, Control U. Nothing. This looks good. We're going to make it work. Okay, so what we can do here, because I got a little bit more space to work with, let's pull this out, make it as big as we can, throw back our checker texture. The only reason I'm going through this quick because I don't know when Maya's going to shut down. It will. It's Maya. Get used to it. Save often. All right. Sounds good. Grab this. So you have to grab everything. Turn this off. Grab my... Oh, shit. Grab my UV shells. You're going to go to Image. You're going to do UV Snapshot. I'm going to save here off to the side. You don't need to see this. Behind the scenes. Witchcraft. Let's go into my storage bank. Oh, wow. Somebody has conveniently named this file already. Forgotten Pawn. I will do that. Thank you, sir. Right here. We're going to do this pillar 1, or in my case, pillar 2. UVs. So I'll also go through the way I name them. Apply and close. I'm going to save this before it shuts down. Save scene as in that same folder. So you can go back and set up a project file, which this, I'm not as concerned with that as setting it up from top to bottom. I can go through that. If you have questions about it, I'll be happy to. Okay. All right, we've got this set up. I got the UVs, and I always set them to white. You'll see here in a second. So this is saved. I'm going to go ahead and change this to... I call it pillar 2 because I've already got a pillar in there. I didn't like the way it worked. So let's go ahead and close this. I don't need this right now. We'll pull it up shortly. But we are going to go ahead and open it up here. So let's pull up our UVs. Let's get to the nitty-gritty, the fun part. So before I begin, just to let you know, I am using a Parblo tablet. This is the... Can't remember what size this is. But it is a Parblo tablet. It's the second to biggest. 13.5 inches? 15? I can't remember what it is. It is a touchscreen tablet, stylus compatible. You can do all this on a normal drawing tablet. 1, get a drawing tablet. 2, it doesn't matter. Even if it's a little bamboo one, just get one. Makes a difference. I use this one I can see. It makes drawing lines a little easier, but if you're doing paint work like I do a lot, it really doesn't matter. If you get good enough with it, I've done the same thing. Okay. So, all right, let me just set this up here. So what I'm going to do, there's a couple things I go ahead and set up Photoshop. None of this matters. 1, I set up my palette here, throw it down. I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to delete everything else. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and lock this layer down, this lock tool. So what that enables me to do, I can grab a color up here, throw my blush in, and all I'm doing is painting on the color. And it's not as important for UVs. I do it to keep myself in check because I'll know where the seams are as it is for everything else. So give me a second here. Am I not saying? I don't know. Stand by.
Hey, we back again.
What the fuck? Wow, this shit going off. Just popping off. Lord have mercy. There we go. Oh, what's going on? I thought my phone was on silent. It is, but everything else wasn't. Fun fact for you. All right. So set the dark, lock your layers in, and you can go ahead and throw this on top. So you can see your seams. And it's going to be kind of... because it's a very thin line of white. And that's why I use white. It's easier to kind of block it out against the black background. Doesn't matter. I close it anyway, so it's all moot. So 1, go ahead and establish your background color. So we're doing a pillar. You got to come up with a story in your head. You know, why is it here? What are we working with? So I'm thinking, you know, stone, pond, swamp. I use 1 brush. It's the round normal brush. If you go into your settings here, let me see if I can do it with the mouse. So if you do, yes, so if you do basic brushes, I think is what it's called. Yeah, basic brushes, it gives you a set of opacity and a set of round brushes. I use the round, usually I go to the highest, go into the brush controls, and drop down the spacing. I don't want this jagged edge. And you'll see it as you drag. Well, that's a bad example. Nobody look at me. Yeah, you see this shit right there? That bothers the fuck out of me. I don't know why they put the spacing on there. Let me add the spacing if I want it, but it doesn't matter. So we drop down the spacing. You can keep it on. This is your shit. I don't care. I don't care how you do it. But I do keep the using the pressure controls and then the opacity pressure controls. Flow, it doesn't really matter to me. I've never seen the difference, at least in how I do it. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. That's probably the case. I don't give a shit, though. I don't know where to put my beer. There's so much going on here. Okay. So I've got the pop filter right by my... If I hit this and you hear a thud, it's me hitting it with my head because I like to get in there. All right. So let's go ahead and go into this. I'm on the 60 brush, and as you move up and down, it doesn't fuck with your brush controls. Anyone that tells you, I need a million brushes, no, you don't. You need one brush, and then sometimes you need more. So Shai Safadi, that dude needs a million brushes, but he has the basic technique down. That's his style. If you can do it all with one brush, you'll be great. And then you can move to the other ones and make you an expert. That's just, it's facts, people. It sucks, but someone needs to tell you. So we're going to paint with a grain. We're going to go up and down here. And it's probably a little small, so we're going to go ahead and undo that. I need a big brush here. There you go. Up and down. Just all over the place. And with the build-up, you're getting that deviation of color here. So you are going to have some spots where the colors deviate. This is quick, stylized painting. You're going to have that. I want these kind of little spots where it's lighter, darker. And here, it doesn't matter. We're just going to kind of fill it in. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and color this in and mess with some of that more. So this is my deviation. This is now my palette, basically. So these color lines. Swatches, keep it handy. I will swap back through them pretty quickly, but this is my color palette. So let's go ahead and flesh out how I want this designed. So let's go ahead and drop me down a size here. We're going to go ahead and make it darker. These are the cracks. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and just block out some of these spots. And this is just to get kind of a feel of how I want this to go. So that's 3. This is why I put the overlay here. So here we go. Now I can see what I'm working with. So I can see my spots here, and really you may not even need them. So let's just fuck around with it. You know. Let's see where we're at. Ooh, that's on the edge. I'm not sure that's gonna look good. So let's do something like this, and then we'll go here. Let's get rid of this edge here. We'll see how that is. And this is, you're doing loose stuff, man. We're burning bras here, you know. This is nothing that we're going to hold ourselves to. This is Photoshop. And kind of the cool part of working with Photoshop is we have the ability to change anything we want. That's the awesome part. I don't have to do with any of this if I don't want to. Undo it. All right. Let's go through here. Let's drop down some squares. Let's make some little happy squares here. Some little fuzzy ones here. Look. Ooh, abnormal shapes. No, Steve. I can do whatever the fuck I want. Here we go. We'll go here. Let's make a long square. I like that one there. Zoom in here. Get used to your hotkeys. Those are your best friends. If you're not using hotkeys, you tell me how to paint, because I envy you. So a really blocky design, and it made it to the point where I'm just unhappy with this total concept, and I wipe it. You can do whatever you want. This is just part of my process. I may get through here and say, you know what? I don't like the concept that I came up with, and I start from scratch. You can. I mean, it's your piece. You do what you fucking want. This looks good. I like it kind of starts big. It crumbles down here. May even add some deviation up here. Just kind of break up the shapes a little bit. All right. So, and you'll notice I don't use layers. It may benefit you to use them. I'm not a layer kind of guy. I've never been. I'm sorry if anybody's in chat. I'm not even looking at it. Okay. All right. So again, if you use layers, make sure you label them. Make sure you label them often. It's just part of it. So part of the stylized kind of process, these lines are going to be big and heavy. And so we'll go back through them and we'll polish them out. So let's do... Okay. Let me go ahead and hit up some of these lines here. So we're going to throw this down, darken me up a little bit. Actually, I can probably keep it the same. That's why. Just keep track of your swatch colors. No, too thick, too thick. There we go. And these lines are going to be kind of messy too, because we're going to go back over them. And I'm thinking of bricks, kind of lumpy bricks. They're not fully cut into place. So you're going to have some of these like rounded corners here. So as we're going through here, just keeping that kind of... And there's going to be a point where you look at this and you're like, man, this looks fucking stupid. It happens as you get through the process. Give it time, because there will be a point where it's not like your vision isn't fully developed yet in it. But until you fully get to that part, keep going, because it may hit a point when you take, you zoom out and you're like, oh, it makes sense. See, like even these little lines are starting to kind of come in, and it makes you feel good. Little happy lines. Bob Ross, yo, the real OG. I mean, that dude used like one fucking spade brush and he painted happy trees for a living. If he can paint happy trees for a living, you can paint small unhappy trees for a hobby. Make your trees happy. All right, see there? Look, add a little deviation right there. There we go. And we're just adding through here. And keeping the lines kind of sloppy. As soon as you start adding too much definition, it'll show in your piece. I made some pillars earlier today, and they show through. And you talk about unhappy. God, by God, I'm sorry. Not happy at all. It was slightly shitty. I'm not gonna lie. I got slightly shitty. It was a long day. There we go. So coming through here, and you gotta think like all these pieces, like right in here. All this kind of line work that's really thick, we're going to use that for shading later because, in my head I'm thinking these bricks don't quite fit fully in. Oh, I don't like this though. I'm thinking, as I'm going through, adding some characteristics to the bricks. It takes a little time, a little work to get in there. All right, so we'll go in. And so like here, I want this to kind of come down. We're going to add this a big brick. It's a huge brick. Get in here. Kind of loop it through here. All right, so coming down, move it through here. Yeah, this part, okay. And here as well. Right in here. So get some of these pieces. And you're going to keep the shading light for now. So you can see that the bricks are kind of filling spots. And I've already kind of filled in characteristics for each of the... What the fuck is this? We'll work with this. But you're seeing like the bricks are starting to kind of take shape. And the lines are, again, you want to keep that kind of style consistent throughout the piece. As soon as you start focusing on one and the detail kind of fleshes out before everything else, that's a piece that your eyes drawn immediately to, or at least the audience, and you realize you kind of fucked yourself because they don't care that you added your cool little initials at the bottom, like a basic white bitch. So don't do that, unless that's what you're going for. If you want a really cool, detailed spot that just draws the eye, as part of the composition, you can do that. It's your piece. Fuck me. But if you want to do it right, let's see here. And I'm just kind of seeing the flow of how this went. So this is a brick here. And as I'm going through here, I'm kind of thinking to myself, individualize where the bricks are. So, and you can see like where I'm kind of cutting it out. So I've already given this definition of this brick. I've made a very separate piece. And right here, just by doing this, I've given a little character to this top part. These bricks look like they're overlaying, so I may play with that, giving this a darker outline where this brick's kind of sliding over, and it's just part of it as you're going through it. Keep that in mind, because all this is going to be stuff that you're working with later. Everyone kind of has an idea in mind, unless you're one of the really greats. It rarely comes into fruition that way. You have to start with a general idea and build it. It's I don't know, it's just hard to explain. You start with an idea, and then you flesh out, and sometimes it becomes something radically different. Until you get to, you're really good, you can look at it and say, nah, brah, this is what I'm doing. This is how it's going to be done. And I'm not going to cut this one off yet. I'm going to figure out this seam here on the right. And it's low poly. So just for the level that we're doing this is more of a paint tutorial. At least to kind of go through a stylized idea of it. We may keep that way. So we'll go through here. And we'll slide in through here. Scoot it down. We'll add some character here. What are we looking like? Okay. So you can see they're starting to kind of take shape. So let's go ahead and make another pass. So everything comes in passes for me. There we go. Let's go ahead and add a little darkness to it here. Thin lines. We'll work with that. You know what? Maybe I don't want to do that quite yet. Let's see. How far back can we go? I cut this down a while back. Okay, that's good enough. We'll play with that. Okay. Thick lines, we'll go back to it. Let's go ahead and lighten them up. I like to start with the lighter side. It's easier for me to visualize where the light hits versus where it bounces. You'll see what I mean in a second. All right, so. Whew. And you don't want to get too sloppy. You still want to use a lot of these spots here. So light for me always hits from the top right. Squares are easy to account for, so are circles. When you get some complex shapes, things start to get fucking weird. So let's keep it simple for now. And so light is what defines the shape here as well. Let's go ahead and close this. There we go. There you go. And the opacity is why I like it, because I can kind of taper it as I draw through. You'll get used to using the pressure sensitivity. If somebody gave me just a normal one, I don't think I could use it anymore. I'm spoiled. All right, so we'll figure this seam out. I'm not as worried about that. I just want to develop the idea for right now. So you can see already we're developing a really good idea of what these bricks are taking shape in. And it's stylized. This is a very artsy kind of look. At least this is how I like to paint. It's not exact, and that's what kind of makes it cool. Is people look at it and it's this unique take. If you want to use realistic, Substance Painter, get to it. You're gonna play with some modules. You're gonna do some, graph editing, which is perfectly fine, and that shit looks awesome. But I feel like it doesn't have the same character that you can put into this. Especially when it comes together, it looks really good. And it's just cool for me because, you can kind of make it how you want. If I want to add it, I don't have to go through a graph editor. I can just slap it in there. Fuck it. Here we go. So you can see these bottom bricks. There's a little deviation here and there, but not much in these, as opposed to the other ones. But things like these cracks, we can play with later. That's why we go pretty quick across them. So we're keeping it light. You can see it's already starting to build that shape up. And we keep building. We keep layering and building and layering. All right, so back to it here. And when tapers, you go down. Oh, I don't like that. And we're going to really hit these dark parts as we go back with some black to give those bricks that just a little bit of definition. But we're going, for these bricks, I'm going for a soft look. They're not jagged. They're not hard bricks. and they're worn. You know, we're given that kind of that aged look, like a nice sweet cheese. Not that the cheese is sweet, but a sweet. You get the concept. What is this shit? We'll play with that. See this little thing right here? I've already got ideas. That's gonna be my little bitch. That's my little buddy right there. Love it. And see right there, I just took away a little character, which I want to keep. I want to keep this little character right there. Yeah, boy. That little loop. Love it. See there? We'll fuck around with that. Let's see. There we go. Coming down off of these. And so kind of be thinking too, because right now we're using one color. We've moved up and down on the spectrum on the far left. I've got green selected just as if I move, at least I'm adding the same tint to what I'm thinking. So color is a big part. You keep one color consistent. For this, you can basically paint in 3 colors. You can do a standard shade and then light and darken it. And you've got light and shadow. I mean, for this, it's really simple. There's really nothing to that kind of idea of. There's no real color technique. I mean, you need to know kind of how light operates. You need to know the direction it's coming from, what it's bouncing off of. Is this a rough surface? Is it glossy? Am I adding highlights or low lights? Is there going to be shadow work involved? So mine, there will be shadow work involved, but you can see now we're already at a different level than we were before. It's already looking that much better. So let's go ahead and start moving into, so like right here. I missed this spot. All right, let's go ahead and add our low light. So let's go on down, too low. And you gotta be careful with your low lights because you don't want to overcrowd what's already going down here. So we landed it on the right one. So we're rounding out the bricks. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's and always use your swatches. And you can't stress that enough because as soon as you start mixing your colors, you'll fuck yourself in the end. Yeah, we need to make sure that's good. Let's go back. Go back to color. Holy shit. Whew. About lost it, guys. I had a breakdown. All right, so look at that's beautiful. Look at this. We're rounding out the bricks. Now look, there's a shape to them. Look at that. Oh goodness. Look, they're round. They've kind of got a bubble. You can see depth now. And look, I said bricks. They're not even stones anymore. They're buildings. You know, this is I've built like a narrative behind the paint. Look at that. And so they're jagged, kinda. You can see, and like I said, if you had zoomed out early in this project, you'd be like, "What the fuck is this?" Now, if you zoom out, you're like, "Oh man, I can kind of see it if I squint and turn my head to the left." We'll get there. It takes time. I moved away my project here. We'll remember that. There we go. And we just got to be careful on these edges here. Did I get this one? Yeah. So that's fine. We'll use these as like bricks placeholders here. We'll figure out the seams. Seams are fairly easy to do with this style, just because you're going for a low detail. And usually you're using this for objects the player's not really looking at. This is kind of your background shit, And what we can even do is we can light and darken some of the bricks to give them even that much more depth. Like some bricks are pushed in. What happened here? Didn't even keep me in check. Look, that's just a little fuck up brick. There we go. Look, that's a good brick. I like this. This is favorite brick so far. Ooh, this is a good one. See? This is gonna be a fun one here. Look, I've got a little stencil there. Oh, these are cut in. Gosh, dog, we already worked some of them up. DMX will be proud. I think he's in prison again. I'm not sure. I haven't heard him in the news lately. I know he got out, and then he got, was it Gucci Mane or him? Busted for doing coke in the. I feel like I talked about the same thing on my other streams. Let's see here. All right, so you can see we're not going to worry about this little guy right now. Maybe we'll do a fancy design up top. Let's see what we got. Goodness. Okay, so let's go ahead and come through and add some little details here and there. So like these little parts, this is why I like to do some haphazard shit. Oh yeah, baby girl. All right. Let's cut through here. Let's see, how are we going to do this? Ooh, this tablet got hot. All right, so let's go ahead and add a cut in here. And let's just strike it down right here. I like it. That's good right there. Where was my... Oh, there's my boo. Right there. Let's add a little cut in right here. And let's add like it shifted. Yeah. Something like that. Like something may have cut and then scraped in. I'll come back to that. I just want to kind of get the overlay of it. So these two are going to be a good one. So I don't know. I'll come up with a story for that. That's a good one there. Let's do another up and down one. I like that kind of idea. Ooh, that's a good one. We don't have one coming in from the left yet. Ooh, like that one came in from here. That was a cut. Let's see that. I like this right here. Let's do it. Ooh, this is a good one. This is coming from the ground, but no one's really going to see that. I want a big visual part of it, like a centerpiece. I think it... See, this side's got a lot. Maybe here somewhere? Like, okay. We'll do it on the left again because I'm going to use this cut in. And maybe... We'll do it right here. We'll do just a cut across. Let's see. Something like this. There we go. So simple strokes that come in and out, and you want to kind of feather it out. So same here. That one's already done. Let's do this one. Left and right's always the hardest for me to draw. We'll figure that out. And some of this is going to take going over a couple times like this. This is going to take a couple time pass. But we're trying to get the idea. You're laying foundation for ideas. That's, you know, mind you. And draw with the grain. Paint with the grain. So this one kind of goes into it. There we go. Let's cut in here. I'll tell you guys, this apartment got hot as fuck pretty quick. All right, looks good. So those are a little dark. We're going to lighten them up here. So mind you, we're going to go ahead and kill it with some of this here. Yeah, boy. So there we go. Kind of cutting that in. Let's go ahead and adjust my brush to account for that. So this is a kind of a deep setting here. And then on this side, so here you can kind of mess with some of the colors because you're cutting in. There you go. So this is dark. We still want to be lighter. And I feel like my brush may have been too big for that. Adjust as you see fit to... I think we're okay with that. I do need to flatten that out. I need to get in here a little bit. No, I need my dark one. Was it this one? Yes. There we go. And we're just feathering some of this. We're going to add these lines again. There we go. Ooh, that's a good cut in. I like that. All right. What the fuck? Damn it. There's like a weird little section here. I only do that because I hate to do side work, but you do what you got to do. Ooh, almost did it again. All right. So let's go ahead and adjust some brush out. We're going to use our lighter section. No. This is the dark section here. There we go. And kill this light in here. That was too dark. There we go. Feather this in. And kind of move this along. Yeah, because I still want to maintain kind of this section here. I feel like we degraded some of it. We called it a name. Hurt its feelings. I'm okay with that. We'll fix it here shortly. Again, we're getting ideas out, guys. Getting ideas. Well, that's the wrong idea. There we go. All right, we'll fix that shortly. So again, I'm just cutting into the bricks. I want to give that that kind of leveling out here. Okay. There we go. This is fine. Some of these are going to have better spots than others. Okay, here we definitely need, that's too dark. Let's get this low level detail here. Let's kind of shift in. Let's work it through. It will, okay, that's fine. I'm just trying to get the idea in. Let's see. Ooh, this one's gonna be tricky. Too light. There we go. In hindsight, I may have been using the wrong color, but we will persevere. That one came out pretty good. Let's go. I'm gonna go ahead and just knock out some of these low lights while I've got the color selected, because I'm drawing it like an awkward angle now. Let's see. That may be too dark. That's a correct one. And let's see with these light, softer tones. That's a good one. Gosh darn. Like a pro. And so again, all these are going to take some development to go through. Let's see, this one's going to take a little more love. All right, so again, because we haven't gone through some of the other parts here, it's going to take a second or so. Let's see. All right, let's grab this. Let's come down through here. Make sure we've got this pretty uniform as we're cutting in. And we'll add kind of some darkening through there as we go. But until then, I just want to match so that we have an idea of what we're painting in. Because this is, I mean, imagine this is grout. It's not going to be black. I mean, your brick's still sticking out. It's almost like the grout's been laid over it. So you have that kind of idea going into it. There we go. Paint with the grain. Do as I say, not as I do. All right. And let's see here. Okay, let's feather this in. And all I'm doing is holding Alt while I'm grabbing some of these colors so that it matches in with what I'm doing. That's all I'm really doing. I'm just feathering it in, making it match. I think we're good with most of these. So what I'll do now that I've got some of these darker outside colors, we're going to start doing some final passes on it. So in fact, what we can do, let's go ahead and go to color. We're going to add just a dark layer. So let's add a layer here. And the only reason I'm going to do that is because I'm going to drop this layer to a multiply, or maybe even a darken. We'll see here in a second. Whoa, there was a noise. There we go. Whoa, that was weird. All right, so let's throw up our brush here. This is on a multiply. And so I'm doing that so I can change. Ooh. Let's change the opacity down. Let's see how that looks. Let's grab it and go up a little bit. And all I'm doing is I'm choosing some of the bricks to darken, which may not work as well, but I'm going to see. Because I just want the idea that these are pushed in. And that's what we're doing on a second layer. All right, so let's do this. You know what? We'll kill that. I'm not a big fan. We'll figure it out here. All right, so now we've got these. Let's go ahead and do some, some detail work. Okay, let's start our lines out. Let's drop this down. Make sure you're still using the same brush without the dithered edge. We are. All right, so you don't want it completely black because, again, these lines aren't going to be completely black, but you want a fairly sharp tool. You want it pretty close to it. So here we're going to start working down because you do want an edge to everything, right? So you can see now I'm defining the stones as we're going down. And these you want to work with a kind of fluid motion, just quick sharp lines until we really get what we want. So you can see now these stones are really defining themselves. Or we're defining for them. We're finding themselves. They're teenage stones. You know, right now they're going through that weird goth phase, which, you know, we've all known. But they can't stay that way forever, you know. They have to grow up. And here they grew up too fast. Ooh, Nelly. All right, let's move it in here. Go. So here we're going to kind of cut along. And we're going to move in. Move this one in. So now you can see we're starting to edge them out. They're, you know, these, oh fuck, I did it again. These stones are really starting to form a shape. And so some of these, like around here, I'm going to kind of play with this lighting. So you can see, like, this stone's got a lot more edge coming up through here. So you've got a lot more stone here versus here. There's nothing. Okay. And so this is how we're going to give this stone the definition. Come through here. And then right here you can see this really curves down. Let's go ahead and paint it out. And maybe we'll edge this stone here once we get to that part. Okay, so let's keep going down. And this part's going to take a while, so buckle up, kids. Unless you are painting. And then take your time. I recommend smooth jazz music. Or Kanye. He is the artist of our time. I've turned off the air conditioner in my apartment to save the sound. And let me tell you, it's hot as fuck up in here. Let's see. Ooh. Let's move through here. Oh, look at this. We're starting to get to the mouth of that cut-in. That's going to be fun. I'm excited for that. Are you guys? I'm just kidding. It makes no difference to me. Let's see. Oh, this part here. darken that out. So what we look like, oh look, there's some definition coming out here. Because just these little black lines, you can see just how close the stones are to each other. Good for us. And look, we can even cut in a little bit there. Look, ooh, round it out. Right here, look, it got tight in here. Little soft lines in it. Oh, came back out. See there? Character. It's important. There's the grab. My fridge just cut off, and it sounds fucking weird. It could blow up at any time. If you hear an explosion, either ISIS has bombed my house or my fridge has exploded. Which, they may be related. I'm not quite sure. Okay, let me get through here. There we go. Let's cut in here. Move on down. So I always like to zoom out, take a peek. So we've only got this section done, but we will move through here. So small, tiny advancements as we go through. Nothing anyone likes to really watch. And what I may do is for the next stream, just finish this up. Or we may do it here. What time is it? It's only 10:41. Why not? Let's go ahead. Let's keep it up, boo. Baby bear. Let's rock it. Ooh, I'm starting to cut in there, but that's fine. That's fine. You can make those mistakes. So right here, now we need to start cutting in. And so you can see the texture here doesn't really, or at least the pixels here are okay. Because we've kind of gotten the flow, the matching. You can see there are dark parts. So that's fine. So what you could do too, depending on your model, what I've seen some people do is these outlines here, they've made it an emissive layer on a second layer here. And when they put it in, they make it glow, which looks really good. But for today, we're going to keep it simple, stupid. KISS. A little something fun for you, a little acronym. Okay, come around here. Come up. So in here, oh, these are some good lines. Look at this. You can see that definition, that stone. Come in here. We're gonna cut it down. Cut it down like a bad nightclub. Yeah, boy. Look, so you can see in there, it's starting to kind of come in. It's tedious, but it's gonna look really good at the end. That's how it goes. It's part of brickwork, guys. Oh shit. Part of laying it down. There we go. Got it in there. All right, so here we're gonna cut in. And this one we're really gonna have to cut in because there was no definition on this side of the brick, but here, this is super easy. Look at that. Ooh, girl. And this one here too. You want to smooth out the lines as much as you can as you come through. Oh, look, this brick's gonna be fun. Look right here. Bet you never heard that before. This brick's gonna be fun unless you're a stonemason. And then it's probably not fun. That's a shitty day's work. Or unless you really like it. I don't know. Guys, you know, I appreciate everything you do. You built my house. Let's see. There we go. Get it down. That's going to be a wider crack. That's what she said. There we go. And right here, look at this. Ooh, this is going to be a deep cut. I may even add a pebble there. Okay. And so we're just kind of following the natural flow of how the brickwork is done, or the stones rather. See, there it is again. We're not quite sure what we're doing, but that's the fun part. We've developed kind of this idea through how we're painting it. There we go. Where are we at? Yeah. Look at that. Earlier it looked like shit. Now we've got something that looks okay. It's a smattering okay. So, you know, we're moving right along. Let's see here. Get right in these cracks. Move it through. If anyone actually does tune into this, I think I'm recording... I hope so. For YouTube as well. That way you guys can listen to it at leisure, at a podcast, at work, during sex. First of all, if you are, shout out to me. That'd be kind of cool. Although it'd be strange because it's not like I'm doing anything impressive. I'm just painting. And your sex life is kind of boring. So I recommend not listening to me during sex. Let's let my voice turned you on. Then we're digressing. Then I should be doing a different line of work. Let's see. Get in here. I hate these kind of rough edges here. And we can even go as far as to add some... so I've kind of got... Well, I had green lined out. Some kind of like algae kind of dripping through here, which we will. Spoilers. We're going to add a lot in the way of that. Okay. There we go. That's a big one. That's a deep cut. We may have to modify that. Whoa, got sloppy there. Oh, oh, losing it, Captain. Where are we at? We're making progress. This screen's getting hot. I'm not sure why. See right here, this is too sharp. Don't like that. Let's cut that down. Let's make sure that's got definition. So these stones now, they have some real definition to them. And we have to make sure, and be mindful at least, as we're painting little details here and there, that we keep this definition, that we're making sure, you know, these stones are keeping. And, you know, you can either leave them with this kind of rough edge. Sometimes I do. Or, you know, we're going to start blending and mixing and making sure it all kind of fits together shortly. And you can do that too. So if you like this style, you can stop here. Honestly, that's popular. I mean, this kind of frou-frou art style, people really go for it. And as you're doing environments, together it looks really good. People call it lazy, but that's kind of what art is. You know, it's getting the idea across, at least what art is to me, with as a basic idea as possible, but you getting it. You want to see the strokes. You want to see the character in it. And that's kind of what art is. You know, anyone can take a photo, and I'm not shitting on photo. There's some really good photographers out there. But to me, if it's a painted piece, I don't want to go for realism. I can see that. I want you to feel a different way, you know? So we'll get these parts in here. Let's see. Yeah, I want the strokes to really, you know, you can see like how it was done, and you can kind of, you know, as you look into it, you're like, wow, this is a really simple piece, but I get the mood that's coming across. I kind of get the idea, and to me, that's kind of cool. That's a really cool idea. That's why, you know, companies like Blizzard and even Epic Games now have kind of adopted it with Fortnite, super popular. The idea of a stylized concept is really good. let's see. But it gives you, you can play that game until you really look at the pieces. It's done, I mean, not to this shitty of a level, but with the same concept in mind. Is a very stylized art piece with that in mind. They're going for a simplistic look. It's easy to render for the game. They're painting on the light. They're using it to their advantage. You can make some really good, Tor Frick, I think is his name. I follow him on the Insta, hit me up, holla. The guy does hell of a good work. I believe it was Tor Frick who did an article for some of his hand painted work for World of War, at least a stylized design. He's an artist, I believe, for Blizzard. Both 3D and I think he did a 2D piece just to see if he could, break that boundary. He does normally 3D pieces. But it was really good to look and go through his concept, like his flow. It was really good. Just if you're into that kind of shit. I think it was Tor Frick. I really don't want to give credit to someone else, but I feel like I'm pretty safe in that. If not, the dude's still a hell of an artist. You can't shit on the guy. All right. So we're making progress. We've got just these little bit of lines. It looks like we've done a lot of the other stuff here. And the stones are looking good. It's going for a style I like it. Let's see here. Let's go in here. And sometimes you can get through these pieces depending on how complex it is. So I did a piece you can actually see on Sketchfab. If you look up, it may be Disgruntled Artist. If not, I may provide a link, maybe on Instagram too, which you can follow through. I'm not too sure, but you can see like a cloth I did on there for a door frame. It took like 5 minutes, and I thought it came out really good. But some pieces you just hit it and you're like, got it, nailed it. And some like this, you got to develop, you got to work through it. And it takes time. This is a detailed piece compared to what we may do later, we may do a wall with just some simplistic ideas that go through with it, or let me take care of this with some shading. But it just depends on what you're working on too. You can't rush. Do it right one time. Take as much time as you need, but then you're not going back. You're not having to fix shit that just doesn't work. And we haven't had to go back yet. I still like where we're at. I really like the piece. I can see like kind of this coloring go through here. So let's start smoothing some of this out. So we're going to raise the brush up. We're going to kind of establish a baseline brush. We need something kind of mid-grade. So you can see this color's kind of, we're going to start fading it in. There we go. Here we go. So all I'm doing is, as I'm going down, like I want to kind of maintain some of these colors here, but I do want to smooth it out, like these spots here. And I'm using the opacity here and kind of rounding those edges. And I'm filling it out. And here. So as we go, we're blending as we work, using the Alt key to highlight where I need to grab, and then blending it in. So like here. There we go. So we're kind of working it in. So, and here like, oh man, this doesn't look right. Yeah, that's cool. Look, grab this, start coming down. Let's blend it out, baby. Make it work. So, and the idea is each brick is going to have its own kind of personality to it. So start really working in the colors, So you still want this mix of colors here. And now we're going to start kind of circling them in. See it here. There you go. So look, so we're rounding out here. So you can see. And this is going to take some time if this is the route you want to go. If you want to leave the brick the other way, that's perfectly fine too, but I really want to add a little bit more definition to the bricks. So like right here. There we go. So just on this brick, you can see it's kind of added. It's more fleshed out. You do have this very strict line. What you'll see a lot of guys do, and we're going to do this on a different layer, just so if I don't like the result, I can go back or I can add it to it. Oh no, which layer are we on? Okay, let me go ahead and delete this layer, otherwise I'll forget. All right. So those guys will go through a straight white almost. They'll really taper it down, and they'll really kind of pack in the highlights here, which is really good. I really enjoy that, and we may end up doing that because I really like the way it kind of contrasts the darker spots. So like right here. And then like you're going to have these kind of cuts in the stone. So you can see now the stone's got this really curved, nice spot here. Like, I really like this. And then here we can concentrate it even further. Let's go a little slightly darker. There you go. And you can kind of see the cuts right around here. So like this area here. Let's go ahead and let's add some cut-ins right here. There you go. So you can see, look, this stone now has character. We've created a whole idea just from how the stone's laid out. So that's why I like blending the colors. And let's go a step further. Let's make it a little darker. Raise up our blend here. And let's really, now that we have an idea, let's build it in there. So like this here. Okay, let's add in some dark here. In fact, no, let's not do that. I'm on the second layer, yeah. It's because I'm on the other layer I can erase. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and add in a little color. See what that looks like? Too small. Let's go ahead big. There you go. And let's go ahead and that is light boy. There we go. So now you can see just how like the idea is how much the stone's cut in. And see, I don't like it. It didn't get quite the effect I wanted. So let's go a little bit more. All right, so let's see what this will look like. Let's go ahead and highlight that out. Go ahead, look down, make sure I'm not working my Genki brush. Whoa, I marked somewhere. We're going to find out where shortly. See? And so, cutting into the stone. So, and again, we're doing this on a second layer. So if I don't like it, I can take it out. But you can see now you have this eroded look to the stone. So, and again, as you look in, it's going to look like crap. But on the outside, you know, looking at the pillar, this would look really cool with the stone. So we may carry that look on. And even if we did something like in the stone, let's say we did a very dark, kind of a, like, it's been settled, like sediment here. And then we drop this down and we had kind of this really kind of drooping effect out of here. So yeah, now we've even got liquid kind of buildup here. And then we just develop these little spots. So I'm using one as a test example because I don't know how I want to develop the stone yet. You know? I don't know how quite how big we want to go into this. But I really like the way it's going. It looks good. So now I have a whole narrative behind it. You can see that, oh, this is cool. I like, you know, the way this is kind of building up. You can even add down here some of the residue maybe pooling in some of these cracks. So you need to start with smoothing each stone and then going through it. So let's go ahead and work that out for another, you know what, we'll call it good for right now. Next time we'll pick it up, but now we have a style we want to go to, so I can pick that off and I can put it back in. Uh-oh, I touched something down here. But now this is how we want it to look, you know, kind of this idea. Yeah, that's good. So we'll use that stone as kind of an idea of how we're going to lay out the foundations. Some will have bigger pools than others, so that's good for right now. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time, probably later this week. But if you have any questions, you can hit me up in the chat, or you can hit it at my, I don't know what's in there, either Twitter, Instagram, or it's probably Instagram. Just hit me up on Instagram. All right, guys, have a good night.